Hey everybody, welcome back to Casey's Kitchen. Today we're going to get into the spirit of the season with one of the best holidays and make some shepherd's pie. I guess this is technically cottage pie because I didn't use lamb, but come with me. First things first, we're going to finely dice up an onion. I used about half of an onion. It all depends on what size the onion is. Then while we have the cutting board out, we're going to go ahead and wash and peel the potatoes, then chop them up to make some mash. Once you have the potatoes chopped, get them in the water and don't forget to salt it, then put it on to boil. Then we're going to go to start our filling. First, you're going to want to heat some oil up in a deep pan. This needs to be big enough to hold all of the filling. We'll start by sauteing onion. After you've sauteed for a couple minutes, remembering to salt, you're going to go ahead and add about a tablespoon of garlic. Once you've added the garlic, let it continue to cook for about a minute, just to make sure that you're really getting all that flavor out of it. Then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and stir. After your tomato paste has been in there for about a minute or two, you're going to go ahead and add a full pound of ground beef. I used 80-20. Feel free to use whatever you'd prefer. And then we're going to leave that to brown. Once your ground beef is fully brown, add your vegetables. I used a bag of frozen peas, carrots, corn, and green beans from our local grocery, but you can use whatever blend you'd like. Once your frozen vegetables have been in there for a couple minutes, you're going to go ahead and add a cup of beef broth or stock, whichever you prefer, and a half a cup of the most important ingredient, Guinness. Feel free to go ahead and drink the rest of that can or save it for my brownie video that'll be coming out soon. At this point, I also chose to put in 2 sprigs of thyme, leaving them whole so that I could remove them after the cooking. Don't forget to salt and pepper to taste as you're doing all of this. Once you have all your ingredients in there, you're going to let it cook down by about 90%. All the while, your potatoes should have been boiling to make a delicious mash. That's really hard to say. Now I know everyone has their own secret recipe to making a good batch of mashed potatoes. And feel free to do whatever you'd like here. For me personally, I used my russet potatoes, about 4 tablespoons of butter, a splash of half and half, and a scoop of sour cream. I like to have my potatoes for my shepherd's pie a little more dry than if I was just eating them as a side dish. I also season this with salt, pepper, and garlic. It's very important not to overmix your mashed potatoes so they don't turn out gummy. This is a fatal flaw that lots of people do. They try to overmash or overmix and then they just don't turn out as light and fluffy as they could have been. If you have a KitchenAid stand mixer, it works really well. I just don't have enough counter space to keep mine out all the time, so I mash by hand. Once your shepherd's pie mixture has reduced to where you want it, you're going to go ahead and remove those sprigs of thyme if you chose to add them. Then it's time to assemble. I have an 8x8 pan here that I'm going to layer all of my filling into first and make sure it's nice and even. Then I'm going to scoop the potatoes on top and lay them nice and flat. Once the potatoes are on top, I go back in with a fork to create cross hatches to help get that crispy texture on the top. Once this is all done, you're going to go into a 400-degree oven for about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how crispy you want the top. After you wait that magic amount of time, you're going to pull out this beautiful, delicious shepherd's pie. Serve it alongside the Guinness Bailey's brownies I'm going to teach you to make in the next video, and you have the perfect St. Patrick's Day dinner. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment and let me know what you want to see next.